Alright, Gabe, for this trick, I'm going to ask you to name a card. Any card that just comes to mind. Can you go ahead and name it, and we'll use that card for this trick. Just name a card.
Queen of Hearts.
The Queen of Hearts? Okay, let me look for the Queen of Hearts here. Queen of Hearts. Queen of Hearts. Wait, you said Queen of Hearts, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's actually kind of crazy because earlier, before we started this video, or recording actually, I put one card inside this card box and I even marked it with a red X. Now what's really cool is that the card that I took out of the deck earlier and marked with a red X and put in that box is actually none other than the Queen of Hearts. That's pretty cool, isn't it? But you might be saying, what if I named a different card? Well, the thing is, let's say you name a different card, so go ahead and name another card, Gabe.
Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades. Okay. Well. There it is. Okay, sorry, it took me a second to find the Ace of Spades. The cool thing is that if you had named the Ace of Spades, I would have simply taken the Ace of Spades like this, and I would have turned it over, and it would have had a red X on the back. But how could that be? How could one card be two cards? Because see, this wasn't actually a magic trick this whole time, Gabe. Because see, there never was a card in this box, and no card ever had a red X on the back. They're all just regular blue-backed cards. Because see, Gabe, before the video started, I actually hypnotized you. And see, if I just unhypnotize you like this, you'll see that neither of these cards ever had a red X on the back.
Okay, give me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josiah, and if this is your first time here, welcome to the Card Magic Academy, where I teach you all sorts of card magic related things. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you this pretty cool card trick. You just saw a performance of it, and I really hope that you enjoy this, because it's a lot of fun. It gets a really good reaction. It's really surprising to people. And yeah, so that being said, it does require you to have one thing, and that is a double-backed card, which I'll explain more about in the tutorial. But if you don't have a double-backed card, don't worry, just stay tuned till the end of the video, because at the end of the video I will be sharing with you a method to do this trick that doesn't require a double backer. And of course, if you have a better idea for a way to do this without a double backer, feel free to do that yourself, and maybe even leave it in the comments below so other people can benefit from that as well. So anyway, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the tutorial. Alright, in this video, I'm going to be using the Blue Bicycle Standard playing cards. Pretty normal deck of cards. You can get these at pretty much any store, dollar store, or any store anywhere. But I will leave a link in the description if you want to go buy them on Amazon. Or it might be a link to the Bicycle Playing Cards webpage, depending on what I find. But yeah, so let's get into learning this trick. So for this trick, you are going to need one special card, one special gimmicked card. But that being said, you do not have to use it, okay? I will teach you at the end. I'll show you a variation that does not involve this card, and I'll show you how you can do this with just like a regular playing card, not the gimmicked playing card. But in order to do this presentation of the trick, you are going to need to write on a card anyway, so I don't see why having a gimmick card would be that any much bigger of a deal to you if you're already willing to do the trick as is. But to do this trick, you are going to need a double-backed playing card. Basically, if you don't know what a double-backed playing card is, it's basically the name explains what it is. It's a playing card that has a back on both sides. Now, you don't have to buy these. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to buy these, but you can make one super simple by just taking any two cards and taping or gluing them together. And that's what I do for a lot of my decks of cards, unless the deck of cards itself comes with a double-backed card, which some do. But like if I'm just using like a regular bicycle deck or whatever, I'll just grab two extra bicycle cards that I have laying around and I'll just tape them together and use them. And then on one side of the double-backed card, you're going to want to make like an X, or you can write prediction, or whatever you want. Just something to like make it like a special prediction card. And yeah, that's really all like the preparation you really need to do is just making this card. Once you have that, you're going to begin the trick. So when you start the trick, you're going to want this card to be in the box, and you're going to want it to be in the box like this. I like to have the flap open like this, and then have the card come out like this. You can do it the other way where the flap comes out up top, but I just think it's easier to have the flap open this way, and then you can just reach in and pull out the card. But you have it in there like that, and kind of sitting like this so that the end is facing you, not the spectator. Okay, and that's how I like to start the trick. If you want to start the trick by taking the cards out of the card box, you can have this card like on top of the cards like this, or I should say bottom. And then when you're taking, those are just in the box like this, and then when you're taking the cards out of the box like this, when on the back, you're using your back fingers to just push this card back in. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you can push you're using these fingers to push it back in, and using this finger to kind of hold it as you take it out. And that's just a way to do that if you want to take the cards out of the box at the beginning of the trick. So you would have the box closed like this, you take it out, you open up the box, and you say, I'm going to take the cards out of the box here just like this, and you take them out like that. And just like that, I've taken out all the cards except for that double-backed card. And again, you're just using your back fingers to slide that card back like that. So that's how you can start the trick. Once you're in this position, you're ready to start. So you can shuffle the deck, you can do whatever you want. Please don't do this trick with a deck of cards that's missing cards. If you possibly can, do it with a full deck, not a deck that's missing cards, because if you're doing this with a deck that's missing cards and the spectator names the card that's missing, you're going to have a pretty hard time trying to do this trick, okay? So, anyway, you shuffle the deck, you do whatever you need to do. You have the spectator name a card. I like to flip the deck face up, have them name a card. So in this case, let's say they named, common cards that people name are like the Ace of Spades and Queen of Hearts. Ironically, those are the two cards that my brother named in the performance. But let's just say they named the Queen of Hearts, for instance. You want to go to yourself in the deck like this, with the deck tilted towards you. Not out like this, the spectator can see, but tilted towards you, as if you're trying to find that card, the Queen of Hearts. So once you find it, this is where the trick starts. So what you want to do is you want to get the Queen of Hearts to the top of the deck. And there are lots of different ways that you can do that. The way that I did in the performance is the most simple way possible, and the way that I think you should do it is to just break the deck at the Queen of Hearts, so basically keeping my fingers here and holding on to the Queen of Hearts at top, pulling the cards back like this, kind of pointing to the spectator and gesturing, and then I bring the cards back, putting the hand in my right hand on top of the deck, and turning the deck over like this, basically leaving the Queen of Hearts on top like that, okay? And that's a super simple way to do it. Okay, you can also do like a cull if you know how to do that, where you take the cards like this, and you're spreading through them, you find the Queen of Hearts, and then you cull that card to the top like this, which is just a sleight of hand way to do that. So then once you have that card to the top, you talk about how crazy it is that you had a prediction card here from the beginning. You picked up the box with this hand, and this is important, okay? I want you to notice what's happening here, because what you could do, and this is the mistake that I bet someone's gonna make, is they would set the deck down, take the card out with this hand, set the box down, and then set this card on top and pick up the deck. Do not do that. The reason why you don't want to do that is because you don't have any motivation for doing that, okay? You want your actions to be motivated, right? If you really had two hands free, why not just take this card out and flip it over and show them what it is, okay? That would be the obvious way to do it. You want justification for having to put the card on top of this deck, because in a minute what you're going to do is you're just going to do a double lift to show that card as the double backer when it really isn't, okay? And you want motivation to be able to do that double lift. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have this hand still be holding the deck, so this hand is preoccupied while you pick up the box with this hand, open it up, reach in with your thumb, and pull the card out like this, okay? Okay, this way you have a motivation for getting this card on top of the deck, because this hand is occupied, okay? So you need to be able to have motivation there, okay? In the performance, you'll notice that I actually went against that justified rule and took away the card after I put it there and flicked it, and I did that to get a break by just pushing the card over and pulling it back and getting a break like this, and then setting that card back on top. You can do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. The only reason I did it in the performance was because I did what oftentimes I do when I'm on camera, is I panicked. Okay, real quick, just like a quick behind the scenes note for you guys. If you ever see performances and it's a little rough, or the sleight of hand looks a little rough, oftentimes, I promise you, it doesn't normally look that way. The only reason that I do it is just because I panic in performance and I don't do things the way I normally would, okay? So this is one of those examples, right? I wouldn't normally do this, but I just panicked in performance and for some reason just couldn't think to just get a break. And so I took the card away, pushed the card over, and got a break like that, and then set the card back, okay? Which absolutely works if you can't really get a break another way, but if you can, I would recommend getting a break a different way, like a pinky count like that, which let me get a break. But either way, you just want to get a break so you can do your double lift, or if you do like an Erdnase double lift, you can do that too. But basically, you're going to do a double lift to show that card is the card that had the red X on it is the card they named. So once you've done that, you then take the top card now, which is just the regular card. It just doesn't have that on the back, and you set it down. Now this is cool because you used a double backer. When you flipped it over, now taking the top card off, it doesn't look like a card is flipped over underneath it. It just looks like the top of the deck, okay? Which is a super cool, like, just way to do that. And now once you've done that, you're going to go to the next part of the trick. Now this is where it gets kind of cool because you're going to ask them to name another card, and then you're going to show that card to have an X. So for this version, it's pretty self-explanatory. Again, for like all the presentation stuff, just watch the performance and you'll see how I present it. But they name another card, you go through, you find the card. Let's say it was the 7 of clubs in this case. You take the 7 of clubs, you set it back on top of the deck, like this. You flip the deck over, you set it on top of the deck, and you do another double lift. But this time, make sure you have a way to flip the cards back over, because before you just flipped it over once. Here you need to flip it over twice because you're going to flip it over to show the back, having the red X. Then you flip the double back over, take the top card again. This is just the regular card that doesn't have anything on it, and you set it down. Now, at this point in the trick, you can end the way I did, and this is the way I recommend you end it if you're sitting down. Okay, if you're sitting down, there's no real great way to do this part. Basically, you're just gonna move the box aside. You say, now here's the thing, is that there actually was never a red card in a red X in that box. You spread the deck out, you spread it. I like to do a ribbon spread like this. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see how that's done. How to do a ribbon spread. You spread it out, you say, not all of these are regular cards. And you see, the reason why you saw a red X was because I actually hypnotized you before this trick started. And of course, this is just patter. You didn't actually hypnotize them or anything, okay? You literally just did a double lift. But anyway, you do whatever kind of magical gesture you want. I like to just snap, do something super simple, super cliche. And you say, I unhypnotized you, and you see that neither of these cards ever had a red X on the back. And this is kind of a wow moment for them because they literally just saw these have a red X on them. They're like, how can they suddenly not? And yeah, that's the ending of the trick. So now I'm going to show you 2 variations of the trick that you might want to do, okay? The first variation I wanted to show you guys involves basically being able to ditch this card, because obviously at the end of the trick in the other version, here, can you point the camera down real quick, Sals? You would spread the cards out, but you'd still have the double backer on top of the deck. This variation is going to allow you to get that out of the way so that you just have the deck, and so the spectator can examine the deck if they want. So you can point it back up. So basically what you're going to do, actually just kind of point it down again, you can go ahead and basically you're going to start the trick like normal. You have this in the box. You have the spectator name a card. In this case, let's say they named the 3 of spades. You get that card at the top somehow. You get your rake. You pull the top card out of the box. Now this is where things get different, because what you're going to want to do, and make sure you can see my pocket for this part, Silas, is you're going to want to, here, let me move this chair real quick.
A few moments later.
Sorry, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put the box into your pocket, and it can be like a jacket pocket or whatever. It just needs to be in a pocket somewhere, okay? And then you're going to do your double lift, you set the card down, and you continue with the routine as normal. So let's say you got to the end of your routine, at the end of the trick, and you're in this position, right? So you have the red X card on top, you have your 2 cards out, you're about to do the ending reveal, okay? At this point, you're going to bring the box out to do, when you talk about how there's no card in the box anymore, you're going to do a classic palm. So you're going to get the card, the top card in this case, into classic palm position like this. You're going to reach in your pocket with the card in palm, and you're going to leave that card in your pocket and take out the box. So the card is in my pocket, it's ditched, it's out of the way, and you're going to take the box out. You say, there was no card in the box from the beginning, and then you do your reveal as normal where you spread the cards out. The only difference now is you're completely clean. You don't have that given to double backer anymore. So the second variation you might want to do involves having a red X on the back of just a regular card, no double backer, none of that, and you're just going to take that card and you're going to do the trick, okay? So if you want to do it with just a regular card, no double backers, you just put the X on the back of a regular card. You shuffle, you have them name a card, you go through the routine as normal, okay, where you have them, of course this would be in the box. You're going to take their card like this, let's say they name a card, you're gonna, or nope, sorry, not like that. Let's try that again. They name a card, you get that card to the top. So let's say King of Hearts is the card they named, And you say that's crazy because actually the card that I had in the box this entire time had a red X on the back, and you take it here and you're gonna do your double lift like normal. Now this is where things get kind of different, because obviously now, once you've shown this card to them, you can't just take it off and set it down because you have another card underneath it, okay? So what you're going to want to do at this point is you're going to want to do what's called a KM move. Now, I haven't taught the KM move here on the channel, I believe anyway. Basically, this involves starting a double lift. You're going to start your double lift, but instead of turning this card over, you're going to turn the deck over and do this. And what I have now is just a single card. The back part of the double back is back on the top of the deck. So how do you do that? Well, you start flipping it over, then you tilt the deck with his fingers. You want these three fingers here to hang over the deck, because what they're doing on the back here, if you'll notice here, is they're just kind of pulling that card like this. I know that's kind of hard to see. It might be easier to see from this angle right here. You're just taking like this, and those three fingers are grabbing that bottom card and pulling it as you take this just single card here away. So that means that the bottom card of the double is being retained on the top of the deck, and the top card of the double is being taken with you. Now, obviously, in order to justify this, again, you need to justify your move. So the way we do that is very simple. We literally just flick the card a couple times. So it kind of looks like that when we were turning it over, we were just turning it over with the intent of just flicking it. That's how you do that. So you do a KM move to leave that on top, and you set that down, okay? Now, once you're here, you have this card on top like this. What you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to get the top card to the bottom, or if it's face up, it'd be bottom to top. You're going to just get this card with the red X on it to the top of the deck somehow, okay? And the way that I recommend you do that is simply by doing a double undercut. So you can just do something like this, get that card to the top like this. You can even do like a little shuffle, but retaining that top card. You have them name a card. You go through and find that card now. So let's say they name the 8 of diamonds, okay? And you set that on top of this card here, and now you're going to do another double lift. Now this is important because there is a little bit of a discrepancy, because they might notice that the card right here is going to be different. Don't worry about that. Okay, you could tilt it towards you a little bit if you're worried about that, but I don't think they're really going to notice if you go through this part pretty fast. You flip this card over, you show them the red X, you flip it back over, you set it. I recommend here you do a wrist kill just in case to set this down. And now what you need to do is you need to get rid of this card somehow or hide it. So the way you can hide it simply by ribbon spreading only the top portion of cards. Or you can do like, you can classic palm the card and get it away. Or you can gambler's cop the card and get it away. But then you spread it out like this, okay? And that's how you would do the variation without a double backer. That being said, I would recommend you use a double backer, because I think this version is just more like there's more trying to get around stuff than there is actual trying to do the magic. So if you are doing the trick, please just get a double backer, do it with a double backer, okay? But that is the variation that involves no X on the back, or that involves just a single card, not a double backer, if you want to do that version of the trick. And yeah, that's it for the tutorial. So yeah, let's just head to the outro. Alright, and that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload a new video. And yeah, that's it. So I'll see you in the next video.